Nobody wakes up one morning and says, I'm going to leave my home and go to this place where I know no one. What I wanted to tell was the story of what happened to Iran. And I realized that if I tell my own story, it brings to light the story of the country and what happened to it. The city to me looked wonderful. It was the heart of urban Tehran. Our neighborhood had lots and lots of little shops and, ice cream stores and grocery stores, and the courtyard was full of people coming and going all the time. We ate in the courtyard, we slept in the courtyard in the evenings, and I just remember it being a very wonderful place that brought us all together. We had two very tall juniper trees. You would see these two trees rise up to the sky. It was a wonderful place to be in hot summer evenings. The smell was wonderful, and you could lie there in the summer and pick gooseberries and read a book, which is what I did oftentimes. I lived in a very eclectic neighborhood at the time, and I think what was very astonishing about that neighborhood was listening to how different my childhood had been from my father's childhood. He had been a Jew in a very small village in Khunzar in Iran, which was very far away from Tehran. And they had been hugely discriminated against. And so to think that now my father had come to the big capital, he had bought his own home, we had neighbors of all sorts, we had Armenian Christians to our right, we had Muslims, we had Jews, we had everybody. And we all socialized, met with each other, befriended each other, lent onions and tomatoes to each other. So by the time that the 60s and the 70s came around, Jews were living everywhere throughout the city, and we had risen up. We had become unrecognizable in the sense that there was no way of distinguishing a Jewish person in Iran from a non-Jewish person, which for Iran at the time was a huge statement on the leaps that the society had made forward in terms of inculcating egalitarian values. So I think the idea that my father had lived that abject, bigoted life, and in the same lifespan he had managed to come to Tehran and create a vastly different life for his own children made him hugely proud and accomplished. And I think that he had every right to feel that way. Even at the time, I recognized that everything was possible. I think part of what we all as Americans sometimes miss about immigration is that we live here assuming that it's such a great country, which it is, that everybody automatically wants to give up whatever they had to be here. And that simply is not true. That human beings are not configured for wishing to uproot themselves in the middle of their lives and replant themselves in places they don't have any roots in.